Welcome back to some more Planescape Torment. We're back in the Fest Hall. Let's talk to Splinter, Master Splinter. The towering man's golden skin sparkles slightly, almost as if it were metallic. Whether it is actual flesh or merely painted on, you cannot tell. He regards you coolly as you approach, giving you a respectful bow as you draw near.
Welcome to the Civic Fest Hall, traveler. We are Splinter, doorman to the Fest Hall, and priest king of Ur. How may we help you?
Despite his humble offer of aid, his voice is powerful and commanding, a deep and rumbling sound that resonates throughout the chamber.
How can you help me? We do many things in this fine hall, traveler. We answer questions guests might have regarding its inhabitants. We direct both visitors and members of the Society of Sensation alike to the sensoriums or lecture halls. We also accept new members into the Society. Lastly, it is through us that purchases from the Society's vaults are made. Spells, items, and shit like that! How can I buy something from the Sensate vaults? You must be a member of Society of Sensation! Might I become a Sensate then? In order to join the Society of Sensation, one must be willing and prepared to share their own experiences. 5 are required, 1 from each of the senses. Alternately, one may contribute a single experience that has strong elements from all 5 senses. These must either be new sensations or improvements upon our current stock. Should we find them acceptable, they will be placed in the sensory stones, and you, having become a sensate, will be taught the sensory touch. It will allow you to draw others' wounds onto yourself, healing them by accepting their suffering. I am ready. I want to become a sensate. First, what smell or experience involving it would you offer us? Actually, I'd like to contribute 1 experience that involves all 5 senses. I woke up, not knowing where I was on a cold, blood-slicked iron slab in the bowels of the mortuary, a place where only the dustmen or the corpses in their care have seen. Go on. My entire body reeked of embalming fluid, but even the smell, that was not enough to match the coppery scent of gore around me. Dozens of bodies lie on countless bloody slabs, like the one I rose from, all in the process of being gutted, flayed, and like nightmarish clockwork devices for reason unknown. The only sounds were the squeals of labored metal and the unsteady tread of undead workers as they pushed the slabs about the mortuary on rusted iron tracks. A disturbing experience, for sure! And even if I left out the part about the chattering skull that flew at me as soon as I was upright, will it suffice, Splinter? Yes, well, we shall go to an empty stone now to record your experience. You will then be granted access to those privileged allowed only members of the Society of Sensation, as well as taught the sensory touch. We welcome you to the Society of Sensation, traveler. May further journeys and experiences pave your road to the great truths of the multiverse. My thanks and farewell.
So, now that we're members, we have sensory touch. We can basically transfer hit points from ourselves to other party members, which, since we regenerate at an alarmingly faster rate, is cool. Let's talk to Splinter one more time and ask him about Ravel. He closes his eyes and thinks briefly.
We would recommend that you speak to a wizard by the name of Quell about Ravel. Quell is always somewhere in the Fest Hall, most often in the private sensorium.
And we will go there soon enough. Let's save, because this is how we do it. Alright, anyways. We've already talked to Jolmy. Have some other sensates over here. Let's talk to Mertwin. It's clear there's something very wrong with this man, the way he lurches about, bumping into things, staring off blankly into space, As you approach him, you at last realize his plight. He's headless. The thing on his shoulders is merely a skillfully carved wooden prosthesis, a false head. Prosthetic. I was thinking... Anyways. Yeah. The headless body stops fumbling for a moment and pauses. Its hands begin to reach out as if trying to feel exactly where you are. After a moment, its finger brushes your forearm. It clutches your arm and follows it to your shoulder, then your head. As it feels your face and head, its hands brush your neck as if it were checking for something. Finally, it grabs your hand and shakes it vigorously in greeting. You notice that its skin is cold and slightly clammy.
Can you understand me?
The figure makes a series of hand motions, then waits for a response. It seems like it's asking a question.
I don't understand.
The headless body taps its foot for a moment, scratching at the chin of the prosthetic head. Suddenly, it raises a finger as if struck by an idea. It points at you, and then its eyes at its wooden head, and then at you again. It then indicates its wooden head with both hands and shrugs and points at you.
No. I haven't seen your head anywhere.
The headless body shrugs, slumps a bit, and turns to amble off. Bonk. So, Mertwin is in need of a head. So, it's daylight outside. Now you want to come talk to Thug Boss. He's young but well-muscled thug. While certainly well-armed and large enough to be dangerous, seems awfully clean for a typical street thug. He's carrying a massive axe in one hand and a steel box in the other. As you near him, he puffs up and scowls at you.
What are you looking at, son? Pike off before I scrag you!
Scrag? What in the nine planes of battah you talking about, you idiot? Scrag's nag nipped, yanked by the hardhead, you clueless addled cover buck. He glares, daggers at Anna, but says nothing.
You do seem a little well-groomed for a thug. Stop shaking your bone box, Leatherhead. This is my territory, and you'll be leaving it quick if you don't want my blood to tear you apart.
Anna snickers, shaking her head. Rather your side, rather your bone box it is. I'd like to see how you drop the smack in the middle of the hive acting as you are. She turns to you. Come on, let's be off. Hell, wasting our time with this wee stammered basha would be. His face flushes angrily. Time to fight, motherfucker! Oh, really? Oh, really, really, really. I didn't really need you to help me, bitch. And that's that. We'll talk to the steel box here. Oh, it's Mertwin's head. The sturdy steel box has a thick leather handle on the top, but there's no apparent way to open the thing. It appears to be welded shut. There are a number of very narrow slits along one side that you can't quite see into the box. A sickly, sweet, rotting smell wafts out from the slits. As you examine the container more closely, it shifts slightly in your hand. Something's moved inside. There's a man's voice from within.
Whoa there! Is someone there? By chance, my name's Mertwin. Anyone hire?
Yes, greetings.
Thank the powers. Have you seen my body, perchance? It's hard to miss him. Stumbles about with the silly wooden head on his shoulders. He must have worn his feet down the stub looking for me by now.
Yes, he's in the fest hall.
May good fortune, then. Could I persuade you to return me to him, good sir?
I'll do that for you.
Splendid! I thank you kindly. Okay, let's go.
We can do that for Mertwin. This massive ancient-looking structure is somehow huge. Somehow less foreboding than others of its size. Ah, well. That's what they say about me. Alright, so this guy's still bonking around. Come here, you fucking blind bastard. Beheaded man is still lurching about, bumping into walls, pillars, and the like. His false wooden head rocks precariously on his shoulders as he stumbles to and fro. Mertwin's voice suddenly echoes from within the steel box. Ho ho, there it is, that's my body. Say there, old chum over here. The body shovels towards you, reaching out toward the steel box containing Mertwin's head. Aye, much better, I thank you, good sir. I imagine my body was getting a bit restless without me. The body hugs the steel box tightly. Yes, I missed you too. The body tucks the case under its arm and bows to you. And as for you, good sir, you certainly deserve some sort of reward for your trouble. Let's see what I've got here now. The body fumbles into its pockets and finding nothing there in its tunic, finally presents you with several handsful of copper coins. Thanks, Mertwin. Alright. So, we got Mertwin his head back. Let's return back to outside. Talk to Quesai. This is a life-size granite statue of a gentleman standing with his arms at his sides, eyes closed. It's of excellent craftsmanship, exquisitely detailed, incredibly lifelike. So much so, in fact, that you find yourself wondering if it's really a statue at all. You touch the statue and find that while the clothes that adorn it are of gray cloth rather than rock, the skin is as cool and as hard as granite. So we strike the statue. As you make to strike the statue, its eyes flash open and it catches your fist with an iron-hard grip. Narrowing its cold gray eyes, it speaks with a voice like two boulders grinding together.
Why would you strike Quesai? Forgive me. I only meant to see if you were truly a statue.
He nods slowly, frowning.
You are forgiven. However, one feels you are lacking patience.
Perhaps I have some questions. The statue's eyes open. He gazes at you with cold gray eyes. He speaks ponderously with a voice like two boulders. Morte rolls his eyes and makes a gagging noise. Powers? No. Not another Burke that talks like this. I have questions for you.
What is it that you were meditating upon when I first found you? Quesai meditates upon the way of stone. The way of stone? He nods. A philosophy. A method of combat. With it, Quesai seeks to achieve invulnerability. Invulnerability? You'd be unbeatable in combat. Yes, now, the way is not yet perfect. Quesai will make it so one day. Quesai knows this. Can you tell me what you've discovered so far?
He nods.
No one has asked Quesai to share his knowledge of the way. Quesai shall do this now.
He begins to speak at length, slowly and carefully. And we listen and learn the way of stone, which gives us... what the fuck?
Did it take our armor off? Gave us -1 armor class, but shit. Was I at 0? I don't know. Let us find out, ho. Because it should be permanent -1 AC. No, I already had -1 AC. So in effect, that's not helping. Yeah, well, as you can see from before, when I take this off, I had 5, now I have 4. So it did work, but it looks like the Mage's Shield is only going to help so much. Because it gives me a natural armor class of 4, and then of course I have to depend on these other things here. But oh well. So no real benefit as of yet. But my natural AC did go down. Alright, so we're not done talking with him. We're going to ask him more questions about what he does. What do you do here? Can you train me? He looks you up and down, making a deep rumbling noise. Slowly he holds up his hands and breaks off one of his fingernails with a sharp crack.
Wish I would see you break this stone.
With some effort you snap the shard of rock in two. He takes the stones from you and places them in his mouth, chewing them to dust with a harsh crackling sound.
Quesai finds you physically suitable. Quesai will now ask, why do you seek training?
Why do I seek training? To defend myself.
No need for melee then.
After a time he nods.
One may hide if one cannot be seen. One cannot be attacked. One is invulnerable.
But no thief has mastered stealth to such a degree, and some foes cannot be hidden from your scent, or your very thoughts will give you away. After a short wait, he nods.
Mighty spells can smite many foes more quickly than any blade.
Mages are like the flask of flaming oil, powerful, but once spent, nothing. They are physically deficient. Their spells merely crutches against their deficiency. When one's sorcery is spent, the core of combat still remains. He smiles slightly, making a deep rumbling sound in his throat.
Quesai finds you something, but Game Hoarder clicked off of it and fucked it up.
Alright, so we have Quesai back in the training hall. Now I need to find a couple more trainers here. The Thief Trainer and the Mage Trainer. Talk to Eli Havelock. This narrow-eyed, sharp-faced man is scanning his surroundings with a look of vague disinterest.
Greetings.
The man looks your way. His eyes are dark slits, like narrow stab wounds beneath his brow. His voice is low and gruff despite his slender build.
Pike off. Not yet. I have some questions. Why are you here then? To be surely passerby.
Heh. He stands quietly for a moment, then breaks a crooked smile. That's good, that. He considers you for a moment. I'm a tutor at the Civic Fest Hall. Name's Havelock. Eli Havelock. He's a veteran scout. Teach you how to subterfuge.
You mean thievery?
His lip curls up, a disgusted sneer. Thieves, and thievery as always is. 5 tours I spent, the reconnaissance, operative, and the war of lies. Scout is my title, scout. I teach the way of stealth and spycraft, not common thievery.
I meant no offense. Can you train me?
I don't know. I've had enough of teaching petty pickpockets and curious sensates for the time being. Almost to himself he mumbles, not sure why I've agreed to do this in the first place.
Perhaps because by teaching others you make them aware of your own skill.
At the same time, you defend your nobility of your skills by assuring them that you're no common thief, but a scout and spy, a master of subterfuge. He nods, mulling over what you've said. Aye, there's no denying it. It's sort of sorry, though, when you look at it that way.
I don't think so. Those are your trade, often misunderstood. Tossed unfairly into the same category as footpads and brigands. There's nothing wrong with dispelling false notions.
Heh, right again you are. He gives you a friendly punch in your shoulder. Thanks, blood. He suddenly looks off into the distance. Well, enough wasting time out here. I'm headed back to the fest hall. If you still want to train, that's where you'll find me. And then return to the fest hall.